Hi everyone, it is week 12. Well, I've actually completed week 12. Friday was week 12, today is Sunday. And I've had quite a busy Friday and Saturday, and I've been wanting to do a vlog with you guys and gals for well over 100 days about navigation. I've talked about it cryptically before, and today just seemed like the perfect timing to talk about all these things that have come into my life since my cancer diagnosis, having to do with navigation. One example is a friend of mine sent me this necklace that has a compass on it, north, south, east, and west. And another friend sent me, well, I feel like I should work up to the anticipation of that. So let me rewind for a minute. Today is about imperfection. And I guess perfection about imperfection when it comes to navigating your life and the direction that you want your life to go and the boat that you're traveling in or whatever vessel it is to get to where you need to go. And what I mean by the imperfection part is that I have no makeup on, though I did wear a ton of makeup, not a ton, but I wore sufficient makeup on Friday because I won this little guy, which I will talk about because I'm so super excited and proud of myself for. My imperfection is that, like as you can see with my glasses, even though I have my anti-glare coating on them, you see how you still see that funky stuff going on there? So I can either like sit there for an hour before I hit record in this thing and play with the lighting, but you know what? I am a talk show host and there's a time and a place for that, and the point of these vlogs is not the time or the place for me to be sitting around messing with lighting. It's about what I'm talking about. It's not about all the other stuff. Otherwise, I would have put on makeup and all that kind of stuff for you. So, navigation. So, I went to Canyon Ranch right before my surgery, after I found out that I had breast cancer and before... I'm going to actually take these off. I won't be able to see you, but I am recording, yes. But that way I'm not distracting you with my anti-glare reflection of all the windows in front of me. But I went to Canyon Ranch, and I think I talked about this briefly before, but I'm going to give a quick recap of one experience that I went through while I was at Canyon Ranch. So Canyon Ranch in Lenox has this spirit walk. And you walk this trail, there's different lengths of the trail that you can walk, and there's so many stops to make along that trail with different activities, for less of a better word. And one of them, I could not quite figure out what it was. They give you a brochure that has like questions to ponder and things to do while you're there. So I normally am very direction driven. I follow directions really well. So one of the stops where I stopped, and I think I mentioned this briefly in another vlog, but whatever, you're gonna hear it again. It was a circle, it was in the grass, it was a circle, and in that circle there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wooden poles stuck in the ground, with, well, for what I saw, it was 5 wooden poles stuck in the ground. And it was in the shape of a circle, but the circle had like a crisscross on the middle of it, made out of pebbles. So didn't quite understand what it was. I could grab my brochure, but the point of what it was, you know, walk around the circle. It wasn't very big, you know, just try to take it in, whatever. Walk around the circle, and then you're going to notice that there's something about the circle, as there's something about life, that pulls you in. Well, it's a completely subconscious thought. Something about something always pulls you there. Like what pulls you to people, what pulls you to things, whatever. So it's like I'm looking at the circle, I go around to kind of see all the parts, and like what draws me in subconsciously without even my thinking about it. So what drew me in was that out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 poles, one of them had fallen over. So my subconscious is, go take care of the thing that's broken and try to fix it. Very much me, you know, trying to make things look like the way they should be. I don't know. So I walked over to the pole. This is before surgery, when I had full ample use of my arms and was able to pick up a pole. So I picked it up. The poles were pretty tall. Gosh, I would guess they were 10 feet or so. But anyway, I had the strength back then, so I picked up the pole. I found a little hole it was supposed to go in, and I, you know, plopped it in as best that I could so that it was perpendicular with the ground, because I'm a, you know, a math person and want to make sure it didn't want to fall or didn't fall over again. And then I'm like, okay, it's upright just like all the other ones. They're all parallel, like life is good. And then once I did that, the second part was ignore now what pulled you into the circle. Like what, you know, what your subconscious tells you immediately, go there. You know, without even a second of a thought. And that was it for me. Like something was wrong, you know, go fix it. And then the other part was, you know, sit for a second, not literally sit, but just look at it for a second and see what draws you in. Like not immediately what your gut really tells you to do. It's like if you really take in a circle of 5 poles, there's something going on that really pulls you in, even if it's somewhat like of a, I don't know why it's pulling me in. I don't know why I want to walk to that pole and not this pole. I have no idea. So I played along and I looked at all the poles, and I'm trying to figure out, as the analyzer that I am too, you know, like what's different? What's different between the poles? You know, I'm trying to figure out what the point is of the poles. A little slow in the uptake. Eventually I got that it was a compass with north, south, east, and west. That's what the 4 poles were. And then there was the one for the middle. So actually, I did remember I vlogged about this. But anyway, you're going to hear it again. So I stopped and I looked at the poles, and I'm looking at there was like tattered, like almost like bits of material, like cloth. Not like legitimate like flags, but like pieces of cloth that were hanging from the top. So I'm trying to figure out, like, well, is one cloth different than the other? Is one longer? Is one shorter? Is one red and one's blue? Like, I don't know. They all look the same to me. So given that, one of them in particular happened to stand, you know, out to me. So I walked over to that pole. I don't know why. I just did. And then it gave you a little description as to what the poles represented, which, yeah, slow in the uptake, was a compass. North, south, east, and west. And I don't remember, actually, hold on. So north, so I think it was, the one that I went to that had fallen over was west. Yes, it was west. And there was something that they tied in together with like earth signs and fire signs and astrology and all that kind of stuff. And I can't remember now. You'd have to go back to the other vlog about the astrology part. And I don't really want to get into super much into that, whatever. Made me think that like the whole point of like, you know, I'm a Sagittarius, I'm a fire sign, I should be around people that fuel me and don't like put me out. But there's some things like air that like, you know, air, if you blow hard enough, makes the fire go out. But air is also what's used to create fire if you want to start a fire. So I take that with, you know, grain of salt, whatever. So I'm getting rid of that part for a second. But the point was, I went towards west. And that was just like where I meant, you know, where I didn't even think about led me to be. And the symbolism of going west with that pole and that experience was, you know, if you're talking about astrology, things that I'm used to of what I've had a lot in my life. You know, I've had a lot of people telling me what to do. I've been a rule follower for for a long time, you know, asked for permission, not forgiveness. And I was drawn to that pole because I'm like, that's just what I have been living for the past, you know, 50 years. I do what I'm supposed to do. You know, I'm meant to go here. I'm meant to be around this kind of energy, whatever. That's what my prior thinking of why I went to the West Pole. And then when I did the math or whatever to figure out the geography, to figure out where I actually was, the pole that actually, when I stopped to think, that called to me was the North Pole. I don't mean that like Santa-wise. I mean like the pole that was at North. And what was interesting to me is, like, for me, the symbolism there is I wouldn't normally just go to the one that's north. To me, north is like where it all starts. When you say directions, you see north first. North is where it all starts. If you're talking about degrees, north is at 0 degrees, where it all starts, or where it all ends. I don't know. I'd like to think of where it starts. But it has a very different representation than like West does, which would, be whatever degrees it is. I can't even think. 180, 270. But north is what drew me in. And I can't remember again the astrological stuff behind it, but it's a big shift as to where I had been going for a long time with all the self-development work that I've been doing for the past like 3 years now or so. And then when the cancer diagnosis happened, it's like everything got thrown for a loop. And I mean, I've shared, obviously lots of vlogs with you about how life changes when it comes to you as a person, your identity, the people that you're around, what energy you're around, asking for help. Do you just fight and do it on your own? There's a lot of moving pieces. And again, I'm a single mom. It's me and my son's at home. My older son's at college. I don't have family that's local here. And I just came off of a Zoom church service, and the theme behind it all too is like the road that we're traveling and where, what you want that to look like. And the great thing about getting older, yes, there's pros and cons, but the great thing about getting older is that you get to choose. You've had all these life experiences. Like for me, I'm going to be 50 in just a couple weeks. You've had all these life experiences, and it's like, what are you going to do with them? Are you going to follow the path of what you've been doing for the past 50 years or 20 years or however old you are that are watching this? Are you going to follow that path because that's just the easy thing to do? That's what you can easily fall in it, into do. Like, I'm good at math, so I'm going to be a math teacher. I'm good at this. I'm going to do this. Or are you going to follow the path where it's like, you know what? This is really what calls to me. And it's not about really an end goal game. I think of art. Like, art is so, people say, oh, you're going to go study art? Like, what are you going to do with a degree in art? Be the starving artist, whatever. But if art calls to you, that's what you should be doing. There's reasons for that. It's like, what is best for you if you take out everything else that's going on? If there's one thing, someone called me selfish the other day, and I laughed so much because I'm like, oh my gosh, for the first time in my life, you know what? I'm enjoying the self-love that I've been giving myself that I hadn't been giving myself for so long. I don't consider that selfish. I consider that taking care of me. And when I first got diagnosed and threw out the C word to people, and all of a sudden it was like, people just disappear. They walk away. They don't know what to do with the C word. They don't know how to talk to you. They don't know how to help, so they just like run away. Not everyone. I've made that quite clear about the people that do end up staying inside of my ship, which again ties into this navigation thing. I've learned so much. So with the navigation thing, going back to the poles, it was the North Pole, where it all starts. And to me, that is leadership. And I have fallen into, I shouldn't say that. That's kind of self-deprecating. I have been placed in roles of leadership based on my performance doing certain things. If I backtrack to when I was a teacher, like I was chosen to lead the scoring of the state exams one year. You know, and that meant a lot to me. You know, there's things where I was a class advisor for several years when I was teaching. And again, that's a leadership role. You know, you're leading how the extracurricular dynamic of, you know, however many hundreds of 7th and 8th graders are going to go. There's a leadership there. And it seems like there constantly seems to be this leadership there. But for me, I'm like, I don't really know how I feel about the leadership thing, because back then I would think of myself more as a follower than a leader. Believe it or not, back in the day, I was quiet as anything. I think like early elementary school, like I was very comfortable with myself. And then my elementary school closed when I was at the end of 4th grade for me. So I had to go to a new school in 5th grade. And that just turned my world upside down in not a positive way at all. Oh, I had gained weight. I just looked awful. I was not, I did not feel good about myself or my life or whatever. And it's interesting because I started coming out of that when I was in middle school. And that's not even why I teach middle school, but I started coming out of that when I was in middle school. I was meeting different people. Very ironically, my friend that gave me this necklace, I met her when I was in, I think, 8th grade. I was in middle school. And I met her over her love of Menudo and my love of Duran Duran, because at the time, that's you're either a Duran Duran fan or you're a Menudo fan, at least in my little like world. And fast forward all these years later, like our friendship has just, oh my gosh, I don't even know. It's beyond friendship. It's beyond family, the things that I've shared with her. And when she sent this to me, I was like, she's seen so much of my life, like the transition into high school and stuff with college and boyfriends and marriages and divorces and deaths and births and so much. And when she sent this to me, and then I had gone to Canyon Ranch, and I'm like, there's something about North that is drawing me in there. That leadership thing is there. And I'm actually getting goosebumps. Maybe I just came out of church. I feel very preachy. That leadership thing is there. And I started anchoring the news 7 years ago about. It was in 2014. And again, it's a volunteer thing, but like, I wasn't the one who said, oh, hey, I want to do the news. Someone else saw me. And that's how that whole thing started. So it's like I'm other people are, I guess, other big goal is pulling me into that leadership role. And one of the things that was discussed this morning on the church Zoom thing, this is what I hate about the menopause thing and all that, like when you totally lose your train of thought. Crap, I just lost it. Oh, okay, hold on, rewind. It always comes back. Well, at least now it always comes back. She was talking about Facebook and having like, about what people put on Facebook or any social media for that matter. You know, you see all these things on Facebook or social media. This is nothing new about like, what you want your life to look like on social media for everyone else to see, And for most people, not all, but for most people, that's like, here's the happiest times that I have. And that's great. I do the same thing too. Yesterday I went out to see my son at college, and he was doing his color guard thing and being all awesome and like took pictures, and I noticed in my face, even though I know it doesn't look like it here, but I have lost quite a bit of weight, and I looked at these pictures, and I'm like, wow, I don't look fat. That's awesome. And it was cold outside, which was great for the new ladies and for my arm, because with the cold, it's like having an ice pack on you all the time. So I guess in some weird way, it's good to have, if you're going to get cancer, it's good to have it in the, colder seasons, because you have ice packs on you from the surgery all the time. That was really weird, but whatever. The point is, you filter what you put out there. You filter what you put out there in whatever way you want it to look. And for me, I filtered stuff for years. It wasn't until after I had my kids and they're older and they're becoming their own people and I'm guiding them through life. And, I got divorced, had to figure out who am I now. I didn't go back into teaching after I got divorced. I'm like, okay, let's try this whole work for a TV station thing. And by the way, the stuff that I do on air, none of that is my job. People still think that. I don't have time to say that. That's not my job. I'm the administrator at Bedford TV. You can look me up on Google, whatever. Like, it's on the website. It's public. But all the on-air stuff I do is not my job. Would I like it to be? Absolutely. If any of you are watching out there and want to pick up my show or have me part of something bigger, I am more than happy to take that on, and just give me a couple of months to get this under control. Anyway, so yeah, I don't filter myself like I used to. I don't put out this, like, I'm going to pretend like everything is hunky-dory when it's not. I can put on a happy face, I can be poised, I can be professional, whatever. But I'm not going to hide anymore. We spend so much time in our lives hiding and being other directions that aren't necessarily our directions. It's just like, okay, here's what I think I'm supposed to do, and here's what's the easy way to go. The best things in life, they don't come easy. There's a reason why I have that expression. And it was hammered home even more when I started doing these vlogs and I started sharing about what was going on with me. And as much as I can get all dolled up, like Friday, I was so dressed up. I had heels on. My legs looked great. I put on my newest little inkbox tattoo. I had my nails done. I had my hair flat ironed. Like, whatever. I looked really good on Friday. But I don't need to, the vlogs are like, I don't need to sit here getting all dolled up for me talking. And it's not a matter of not respecting all of you. It's like, you're watching right now. Did you get all dressed up to come watch me? No, you're just you at wherever you are. And that's the point of, like, why I do this, why I share myself. I want people to just, not like I want people, but like, there's so much fakeness out there. There's so much trying so hard for things to look like blah, 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 blah. There's so much supposed to out there. And it's exhausting. And that's not what I want for myself. That's not what I want for a world for my kids. And that's not the what I want to leave this world with in, 50 years or whatever, when I leave this world, That's not what I want. I want to put something out into this world that you can have the things that you want by following a path that you don't always find to be the most easy and the most natural path to be. So when I was at Canyon Ranch, I'm sitting at the North Pole, not that North Pole, the North Pole in Lennox. And I'm looking and I'm like, I see south, west, and east. I see the center pole. And I know I'm centered as a person. But I'm like, you know what? I'm meant to be here. And I don't mean that in some sort of like self-righteous way. It's just, some people are here. I feel like everyone's here to teach something. But I feel like I am here to express something to the public as to what I would like the world to look like. What morals should be out there. I don't want people to be scared. I don't want people to feel like their lives are predetermined, because they're not. Things could turn on a eggshell, dime, whatever. I'm still not wording completely. Anyway, so what hammered that home even more, I'm gonna put my glasses on for this one. A friend of mine, also a breast cancer survivor. I've known her for years. I haven't been super tight with her, but holy cow, she's just been like an amazing person to know and give me advice and bras and and just unique things, which like you didn't even know that you needed, just like you don't necessarily know what direction you're going to go in. So I get a package in the mail, and almost within the same week, I think, that I got this navigation necklace, and I got this journal. I got this journal, which lo and behold has a compass on it. And I'm like, that's so funny. What's even funnier? Okay, so I got this. And when I opened up the card that came with it, it said, "So you will always find your way." And I mean, she's pretty public. This is from Kristin. I don't use last names. So you will always find your way. And I'm like, you know what? I'm finding my way. I have been for years. And this cancer thing has just been another thing for me to really hammer in that this is my way. This is my way. What other people think is supposed to be my way is not my way. This is my way. This is my way. My heart, myself, my soul, that is my way. That is what I want to have put out there in the world. And I do that right now by being on air. I mean, from the vlogs right now, I was doing that somewhat with the news, but obviously it's the news, so you're reporting the news. And then I started, my show, Neighbors to Know, to spread that. But what was so thrilling for me, I've been doing Neighbors to Know since 2018, I believe. 2018. And I've won awards before for the show, which, I mean, the premise of it is just fantastic. And I'll put a little plug in for myself. If you haven't watched them, they're on YouTube at Neighbors to Know. It's a little green icon. I'd say it looks like a compass, but it really doesn't. There's houses and other kinds of homes in the middle. And then there's a light green border that are actually people. My son designed it. But this past Friday, were the Bedford TV Awards for 2021. And I haven't done a ton of my show this year, but I have tried to change with the times of the Zooming and, going out because I don't have a studio to film in. And seeing what I can do to still keep the show and the whole idea running. So Friday was the Bedford TV Awards, and I knew I was nominated, and I dressed up, I don't know, I can try to use it as a thumbnail, but thumbnails are long, not wide. I dressed up in a dress that I wore when I turned 40, which A, is pretty cool that I can still fit into it. But B, the weird thing was that I fit into it with this new body. I did not wear a bra because my bras right now are like, they're more like tank toppy kinds of things. But I'm like, they tell you, with the implants, I shouldn't need a bra, and it's true. But if I shifted a different, like if I wasn't aware of how I was standing or sitting or whatever, it was kind of low cut, and I could see the scar, and I'm like, I don't want anyone seeing my scars. Eventually I'll get there, and I'm not going to make it public. I know you guys think I share, like some people think I overshare, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't share. I do have my boundaries, and I don't think really I'm ever going to share what my scars look like. Again, I've shared the scars from my drains because that's different. It's like any other scar I would have, but not these. It's just different, and I don't think I would do that. But I had a shawl that I wore over it, and I'm like, okay, that's what I'm comfortable with. And I did take one picture where I took the shawl off, but then I instinctively put the shawl back on. I'm like, nope, I'm protective of these ladies. Like I'm not doing that. But I didn't think I was gonna win. Because I've been nominated for Best Solo Host since I started my show, and the awards have always gone to people that are very experienced, have had their shows for years, they've done Toastmasters, they've done TED Talks, they've done whatever, and I'm like, it's been a bucket list thing of mine not bucket list, but a thing that I wanted to do is join Toastmasters to get rid of my filler words and to be more concise, and as I hit the 30-minute mark in my vlog, but then I realized the reason why I never did Toastmasters, and the reason why I don't fit into like the round peg in the round hole. Other vlogs that people do, like people are all dressed up and, you know, have their hair done just so, whatever, which is fine. I just want to be real. I just want to be like, you know, every day. I mean, yes, I changed out of my PJ shirt to have this shirt on, which actually is weirdly like a nautical theme, going to the compass stuff. But I think that's what makes the show different. And the award that I won, which was Best Solo Host, after all these years, for Best Solo Host for Neighbors to Know, this was the first award that I've won, like, for me as an on-air talent. Here's my cheese. Wait. Cheese. So you show what you want to show, you know. Take my glasses off. And it was super, super validating because I do have filler words. I say things that when I watch myself back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I say that a lot. And you knows and whatever. But that's me. And that's how most people are. And it might not fall into the right algorithm of what I'm supposed to do to get viewers or whatever, but that's not the point. Yes, this is therapeutic for me, but as a bigger picture thing, I'm like, this is why I've been placed on this great earth. To break down that barrier that you don't have to hide. I mean, when I was in elementary school, like I would hide. I was quiet. I would not raise my hand. I would be afraid to say things. I would say things and then like say the wrong things because I wanted to have something to say. You know, got poked fun of because of things. And as I got older, I cared less. I think I came out of my shell around like junior year of high school, definitely senior year. I joined Kickline and that changed a lot in my world of just putting myself out there. And that was when my world started to shift. But I always seem to be drawn back to that West. You know, go West. Not for me. West didn't really work out that well for me. There are some things, but you know, I shouldn't say that. West taught me a lot of lessons. West showed me what I was good at, what I was supposed to do. And North is showing me what I'm best at that I didn't even realize that I was. My older son asked me for, my kids are everything to me. You know, helping them to guide them to be empowered and successful. And I'll use successful as like number 4, but like happy, healthy kids. That's what's important to me. And there's no job that I value more than the blessing I have to be their mom. And my son asked me, actually both of them asked me for some parenting advice yesterday. And I felt really empowered by, you know, not going through this whole analogy of the compass, but by telling them about, you know, their lives are their lives. And they get, you know, obviously as you get older, your life becomes more independent. You know, when you're younger, you have less independence. But you get to create this path when you're, you know, just starting college where it's like now it becomes about you. You get to choose your classes. You get to choose where you live. You get to choose what you want to do. You know, and that's such a phenomenal way to start life is you have those choices of what to do. And granted, like sometimes they're not all the choices that you might want. Like, or I should say the, you know, the amount of choices that you would want. You know, some people can go to an Ivy League school. Some people can't, you know, some people don't want to go to college and whatever the case is. But the point is a starting place for how to go forward with your life. And what I want to leave you with today is that doesn't just start in college. For me, that didn't really start until about 3 years ago. I think, like I said, I was put in these positions because people saw things in me and I didn't see it in myself. And I've had to face a lot of adversity with the breast cancer diagnosis and the process of the, the team and the whole procedure of like surgery and meals and taking care of yourself and all of that, it's like the business of Team Jen. And now 12 weeks out, it's like, my simultaneouses are done. Like, I got my last meal delivered to me on Friday, and now it's like, let's get back into life. And I went back to work on Friday, and that was weird. And even like when I went back to work, like, old me would be like, let's have a party because I'm back. New me is like, I need baby steps coming back. I'll have a party, just not now. I don't want fanfare right now. I need baby steps getting back into, what life looks like or looked like and what I want life to look like now. You don't need some dramatic thing like this, like cancer. There's always something that you can just stop yourself and just, ask yourself, what do you want your life to look like? Going back to the compass, I think of navigating, I think of nautical stuff. That's why I have my white and blue shirt on, which kind of was intended but not intended. It actually matches the tattoo also. But it's like, it is your life. What do you want to do? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want to surround yourself with? What do you want to put your energy into? What energy do you want back? The relationships that I've had with people has been a tremendous eye-opener over the past few months. It'll take me some time to digest all of that. But what I know for now is I know what energy I want and need to have around me. And I know what energy I do not want and do not need to have around me. Right now is the time that Jen has to take care of Jen. And whatever, like, here I am steering my little ship, and like, who's going to be on board the ship? I messaged a friend of mine this morning, and she's going through some tough stuff right now too. And while some people look at people that have gone through tough stuff and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, that must be so awful, blah, blah. Like, not for nothing. The people that have gone through crap, they just get it. They understand. I'm not saying like, please go through crap, but I'm just saying that they have a deeper understanding of life than people where things just go smoothly, or people that like don't do the work to truly look at themselves and see, what is their place in this world, and what are they putting out into this world. And yeah, I have a lot of people around me right now that have gone through some crap, and they're not taking it as a pity party. They take it as, this is a learning experience. This is what they've learned. This is why I have these deeper connections with friends now than I ever had. Ever. And as the holidays come up, it's a tough time for many. It is a tough time for me. November, December, up to New Year's is a tough time for me. As a divorced parent, and anyone who's divorced will know this, I've shared custody with my kids, although they're with me like most of the time. But when it comes to holidays, holidays are shared. When it comes to the divorce process, they're like almost like Hallmark holidays. They're cultural, not based on religion or any of that stuff. So, you split Thanksgivings or Christmases or New Year's or whatever. And in this chunk of time right now, between November, December, and, January, there's a lot of holidays coming up. There's Thanksgiving coming up. There's my birthday coming up. There's Christmas coming up. There's New Year's coming up. There's a lot of holidays, a lot of expectations, and a lot that's going on. And you have to think of, what do you want around you? What is best for you? You don't need to do what's like textbook on paper, what you're supposed to do. You don't even have to have turkey on Thanksgiving, for Pete's sake. Have whatever you want. Like at Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, they had popcorn and toast and jelly beans or whatever it was. And they were like super happy at the end when they realized the whole point, But you don't need to do stuff that you think you're supposed to do. You do things that are the right things for you. That's what's going to fill you. And if it doesn't make someone else happy, okay. Why do you have to make them happy? You're the one leading your life. You make you happy. The past week and a half, I've had a lot of not happy days. I've had a lot of side effects, which you've seen, and a lot that you haven't seen. I've had a lot of side effects between the Lupron and the tamoxifen. I'm due for Lupron injection on Wednesday. We'll see what happens with that. But lots of side effects, lots of things that have not made me into my best Jen at all. Curled up on the couch crying for no reason whatsoever. Like awful abdominal cramping. Ugh. The hot flashes are sort of amusing. I don't know. I can go outside when it's 30 degrees out and I'm not hot. Or I'm not cold, I mean. But there's been a lot of like upset stomach. The abdominal cramping was really bad. I feel like my ovaries were like, we want to ovulate. And Lupron's like, no, you're not. So, I don't know. But I'm riding this wave right now as to what, I need to do to be healthy from head to toe. And I'm going to do what I need to do to have that done. And the side effects are what they are. I see what the greater good is, or the greater goal is. So yeah, I've been wearing this necklace a ton. It just reminds me of like, what route do I want to go? And this leadership role and it's a combination, this leadership role and being, brought to me by a friend that I've had since middle school that's seen me through so much, and then hammered home with the journal being sent to me that was sent to me by someone I'd probably known her for like 10 years or so, but like not super tight friends with her. But it's like, it's what other people see in me, and like it's time for me to see that for myself. And I had been for so long with all the work that I had been doing, but the past year and a half has really thrown me with all the health stuff going on. And now it's like, now that things are calming down a little bit, the surgery's over, I'm healing, I'm in PT, I've like, look at my range of motion. Woo, I can go all the way up here. I can even put my hands on my armpits and not scream as they sweat profusely. That's still not over and done with. Though it comes in periods, which is weird. Ow. But still back here, yeah, that still hurts. I know how far I know how far I've come. And I see, why, even though I'm not trained to do this stuff, there's value that's seen by other people, and that does fuel me. I'm not letting other people define me, but when I have someone reach out, like someone did on the invasive ductal carcinoma page, someone reached out to me and said, like, I all the feelings that you're feeling, like I that's how I feel, and they felt validated by what I said. And that means the world to me, because I think that people should feel validated when they're going through stuff like this. I mean, everyone wants validation. But, yeah, this, yes, it's a trophy, and it's wonderful to win trophies. But the key word here that stands out to me is the solo part. Because when I found out that I had breast cancer, I'm like, how do I do that as a single parent? I don't know. How do I do that? How do I do breast cancer solo? I don't know. My family's not coming up. How do I do this solo? I don't know. Rely on your friends. Okay, friends, I need help. Shoot. Nope, too busy. Working, doing this, doing that. Just not, not there. Yeah. But fast forward, here I am. It's November. July 9th is when I found out. August, September, October, November. It's 4 months, a little over 4 months since I found out. And I did this. And I'd say I did this solo, but I did this as a solo parent. But the solo part was me navigating my ship And I found the people to put on my ship because I get to determine who's on my freaking ship. I'm the one who's steering the ship, nobody else. And some people you might feel obligated to have on the ship, you know, obligation. I have no tolerance for obligation. I don't. I really don't. I don't feel obligated to do anything. Well, maybe work. You know what I mean? I don't feel obligated to do anything. I don't feel obligated to be a certain way around people. I don't feel obligated to appease anyone for any particular reason. I don't. I mean, this is what comes with old age too. I don't know, or middle age, whatever. I don't. And as I look on the inside of my very many, I haven't opened this journal. I haven't written in it yet, but I have put stickers in it. These are my Laura stickers. Use your voice. That's what I'm doing. And people are telling me, you know, keep going with the vlogging. Keep going with the vlogging. And then she's starting this girl power. So I think of the Spice Girls. And the pink flamingos. Because flamingos eat shrimp a lot, which is what makes them pink. And it's actually toxic to them, which makes me think of chemotherapy, which is toxic, but yet saves your life, which is bizarre. And then I'm in the girl power at the end. And I haven't written a word. Oh, wait, yes, I did. Oh, I started writing questions. That's interesting. Wow. I started writing questions. Reconstruction options. Oh, too late now. It's already done. Expanders, question mark. Why is Allogerm not FDA approved? What do I need to buy? Post-op. Wow. Consider proportionality when deciding on my cup size. I don't even know what cup size I am. Silicone versus saline implants. They don't do saline implants anymore. Oh, wow. I guess I did write in this. But you know what? Questions that, like, I have a team of people. They are on my ship. They are my first, like, my crew. They are my crew. And then I have my loving friends who are on the ship that are the ones that I'm like, please, Captain Steuben, go over and give her a little cup of something to drink that's tropical with an umbrella in it and make her smile and fluff her pillow. That's what I want to give to my friends on my ship and who I let on my ship. I don't even like water. Anyway, I hope you got the gist of this. I was waiting to do this vlog since August when that whole navigation thing happened. North is where I'm meant to be. There's things for me to share, and I'll have my time to digest that for myself. But like speaking to you all out there, you know, you have one life. It's not about being sick or not sick. You have one life. And there are obstacles that always get in the way of what you might want your life to look like. Nothing's going to be perfect. There's no perfect. But every little decision that you come across in life, it is your decision to make. Who do you want to have around you? What brings you joy? What fills your cup? And yes, you have to fill your cup too. But what fills your cup? Who fills your cup? Who gives you the energy to be the best person that you can? You know, you should be able to speak without having to be afraid of what you say. And speak in a kind and caring way, but also in a way that is empowering you and taking care of you and creating a life for you that is a life that you want. And even if things are super, super crappy right now with whatever could be going on, there are always choices. There's always something that you can choose. And those choices are based on what you want. And I just hope for the greater, like, you know, picture of the world, that the choices that you're making are things that are, you know, empathetic and make this entire world into a better place so that everybody can feel empowered and everyone can feel included and wanted and heard. And that you don't have to just like look at what's happening on Facebook or Instagram or whatever and think, well, doesn't that look peachy keen perfect? There is no perfect. Even the pictures that you think are perfect, there's always a side story behind it. And that's not because you should be like ranking on anyone because, oh, I really know this is going on, whatever. You know, if they want to put up great pictures of themselves because they're proud of themselves or whatever, because they're happy, then that's great. But just know that's a glimpse in time. And that's their life. That's their life. If there are parts of their life that you want for you, then yes, do what you can to have those in whatever way that looks. And be grateful for it is, whatever it is that you have. And there's always things that you can have, even if you think that you can't do it. There's things that you can have. There's avenues that you can take that you might not have seen as your path. But the key thing is, how do you make it your path? How do you make it your path? You're the one to make that path. You're the one to steer your ship. Where are you going to steer your ship? Steer it someplace that makes you happy and that fills you up. That's what I got on navigation. Yay. Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you soon. Bye.